Adish. Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 7, The Way of Realization. Realization in this chapter is going to refer to what your nature is. And what is Maya? What is the spell of illusion that's cast over your eyes for you not to recognize this nature? And the spell that's cast, if you're seeing separateness, if you're seeing multiplicity, if you're seeing irregularity, if you're seeing how the story doesn't relate to you, this is the veil of Maya. Parashakti. Kundalini. This is your nature. But Krishna will use the term me. Come to me, he says, with a capital M. When the word me is used, in a sense of I, me, or mine, Krishna is speaking from the story here, from the sense of the nameless one, beyond the nature, beyond the Maya and the veil of illusion. So, I may refer to this as the self, it can be referred to as the Purusha, it can be referred to as the nameless one, or it can be referred to as the higher nature. Any of these names are just synonyms, but for this sake, in making it relevant, I'm going to call it the self, and interchangeably the nameless one. The nameless one. Because it's beyond even the name Krishna. I say Krishna, you may have many connotations to the name. Who's Krishna, man? Why is he saying he's the nameless one? It's the same thing as, if you haven't got this already, it's the same thing as the Buddha saying he's the Tathagata, the one thus gone. The one gone beyond all name and form. This is what's being get at by understanding the higher nature. So this is discussed in the way of realization to what the veil is that's cast from recognizing this nature. Krishna says, "O Partha, how with your mind attached to me, taking refuge in me as the nameless one, and practicing this yoga that I've outlined to you, you will without doubt know who I am in full. You will know the higher self. You will know this. And many beings are trapped in this veil, not being able to see. So this is discussed. The knowledge, to be told, he says, I shall teach in full both knowledge and experience, which being known, nothing more here remains for you to know. So, among thousands of men, 1, 2, or 3, or many more, they strive for perfection. And of those who strive and succeed, maybe even one actually recognizes this in truth. Many who listen to this, few will grasp. But still, it doesn't mean that it should not be told. It's being told just as Krishna tells Arjuna for the benefit of the world. So he teaches knowledge, and he teaches the experience. How to directly actualize this nature. So, the nature of the Lord, of the Nameless One, is divided eightfold. Earth, water, fire, air, space, mind, I, and reason, or intelligence. And it's this reason that is intelligent. The understanding faculty of the mind, which in Sanskrit is bodhi. It means the awakened mind. It's also the storehouse of consciousness of all memories, past, present, and future. where you wonder, where does my thought come from? Where does it arise? And the I sense, the ego, which in Sanskrit is the ahamkara, will identify the thought as its own. It's me, my thought. I thought this. And knowing that the I and the reasoning component are actually aspects of nature, but the eternal witness, the higher nature that is able to observe these eightfold aspects, remains unchanging. This is what is referred to as the Nameless One. And why this is relevant? Because the whole war that's going on, all the battle, the attachment, the aversion, the sorrow, the pain, the creation, and the destruction, all the friends who have come and gone, the pains of the heart and the longing and the sorrow, they're all the varifold manifestations of nature. But that which is superior, that which consciously takes its birth in the nature and veiled by Maya, is the actual Nameless One, part, spirit of the whole, of the self. The one who has not actualized the self considers itself trapped, considers itself as an individual, separate from one another. And hence we have war, strife, fighting, because the polarities have not come into balance. Earth, water, fire, air, space, mind, ego, and reason. This is the eightfold nature. So even ego, even the sense of I, me, and mine, if it's seen as nature and you're conscious of it, liberates itself upon this recognition. It means you do not have to avoid saying the I. Watch, observe how Vasudeva speaks here when he says, all who come unto me. This is one who's recognized his higher nature beyond the eightfold division of the five elements, mind, ego, and reasoning. So, those who don't recognize this, they see many-fold manifestations. They see many visions. They see many appearances. They see a multiplicity and division. It says this, of what you see, this is my lower nature. Okay, this is Prakriti. But, different from that, O mighty Arjuna, the Great One, know that I have a higher nature, an indwelling spirit, by which this whole universe is sustained, the all-sustaining spirit. That higher nature is the Purusha, in which the individual, if unrecognized, perceives itself as just a small portion of it, as a wave upon the ocean. But Krishna sees his true identity where the individual soul, the individual spirit is merged with the all-pervading spirit. So he speaks from the sense of me. I am that. There is no difference between me and the Purusha. I found my infinitude with Brahman, he says, existence, consciousness, and bliss. I am like that. That is me. I, me, and mine. I've heard stories of Buddhist monks in Tibet. When they heard this, when the Gita came out and they heard Krishna speaking this way, they got so scared they burned this book. And fortunately, I don't think the Gita was propagated widely in Tibet. What a shame, because it's speaking of the pinnacle. It would be the same as the Ati, as Adi Yoga, the pinnacle of yoga, which we see remnants of here in Kashmir Shaivism. But a majority of the teachings that were taught in Tibet were based on a gradual approach, a gradual increase in this knowledge and realization until you recognize your worth to be identical with Brahman or your nature, which in the Buddha Dharma would be the Buddha nature, the Tathagata Garbha. This is the same thing. Same exact thing that's being taught. The pinnacle of one who has gone be even the attachment to the sense of I, or the aversion to even saying the sense of I. Is see many people on a gradual approach of meditation afraid to even say I, afraid to even say me, afraid to even claim their girlfriend as their own. Pussies, man. And then they get mad when their girlfriend leaves them for another man who will claim her as his own. You can't even, if you can't even claim your nature as your own, I mean, how loyal do you want her to be to you? Your nature is your beloved. She loves you. She has your back. She wants you to claim her. She wants you to be in love with her. That is your lover. Eternal, all-pervading. So, he continues. Know that these two, the Prakriti and Purusha, nature and spirit, they form the womb of all beings. Everything that is born arises from this manifold manifestation, the conjoining of the two, of the masculine and the feminine. These are the polarities of nature. And it says, know that I, as the nameless, as the higher nature, says, I am the origin of the entire universe. Also its dissolution. It says that the nature arises from him. Arises from that actualization that even Prakriti, one's nature, is inseparable. It's just an extension of one's energy. And this energy arises from oneself and oneself alone. There is no other self. It's just the self. With a capital S. All-pervading. And it can't be all-pervading if it's limited in just these boundaries that are artificially set by the constructs that you think you are safe and protected. This is not what is meant by higher and lower nature. It's saying that the all-pervading Purusha, the nameless one, is the origin and the dissolution. And by not recognizing this, it continues, there exists nothing whatsoever higher than I am. The all-pervading is the highest. Because if it's all-pervading, there's nothing higher than it, nor is there anything lesser than it. Even we use these terms, lower nature, but Prakriti, one's nature, one's own lover, is not less. She is your equal. She is the energy manifestation of your being as recognition of spirit. The spirit supreme. And she is the womb. She is Brahman. She is existence, consciousness, bliss. She is worthy of respect. She is worthy of your touch. She is worthy to be acknowledged. She is worthy of being caressed. She is worthy of being seen. She is supreme. I'll continue. Nothing whatsoever than I am. O Dhananjaya. Says Krishna is the nameless one. And Krishna is the embodiment of the nameless one. All is strung on me as a roll of gems on a thread. So he sees all manifestations of energy that arises from his nature are like garments. They're to be enjoyed. They're garlands that are strung on a thread, necklaces that are worn, which is why you see in these stories the various beings, they have their earrings, the various colors, the nose rings, the gold, the rings, the jewels, the very bright weapons and stuff, because it's representing enjoyment, recognizing one's nature, you and as bliss. Life can actually be enjoyed, but if you do not claim this bliss as your own, because you're too scared to even get caught in pride or ego, which is only one aspect of your nature. But the Lord, He subjugates His nature, which means that He is in control. And that self-control, it comes in direct union with Purusham Prakriti, nature and spirit. And to stabilize that is the stabilization of coming into the central position. Hallelujah. Amaho. So, how is this nature experienced? Now, Krishna does not differentiate nature is something different than me. He'll even speak from the sense of I, which is an aspect of nature. So he's speaking as the goddess as well. This is not just pro-patriarchal iconography here. I am the savor of water, the taste, and the essence. Know that this is nature. O son of Kunti, I am the radiance of the sun and the moon. This radiance is nature. I am the syllable Om, which is the sound. All-pervading sound. All-pervading light. All-pervading radiance. That is your nature. I'm the sound in space, and also the manliness in men, the vigor, the fortitude of a man who can be strong in his virility, his strength, his prowess. That is your nature. True strength, true power comes from being in love. Power in one's heart. In these days, I support manly men. I support the vigor and the strength. I support this growth. I support this reestablishment of the Dharma, of seeing the prowess and going beyond even the attachment and the aversion to the 5 negative emotions. Hey Clara, I'm on the...
Oh, Sage,
no, I'm on...
Can we go out and get a sandwich or something?
I'm not... Sorry. I support the manliness. I support it. So, it continues. I'm the sweet fragrance in the earth. Which means even the earth is your nature. And I'm the brightness and fire. The fire, the light, is your nature, as well as the radiance, and as well as the sound. I am the life in all beings. I am the heat, and I am the austerities. I'm all practices. It means there's nothing that your nature is not. Your nature is supreme. And the one who witnesses this is the higher nature, the Purusha. Know me, O son of Preta, to be the eternal seed of all things that exist. It is by being aware he sets the seed, he sets the will and the foundation that all beings then follow. Everything that exists comes from a combination of masculine and feminine, nature and spirit. So I am the intelligence of the intelligent. It says, I am the daring and the brave. I am the bravery in men as well as their manliness. I am the courage. All the good qualities that arise, know this to be your nature. I am the strength of the strong. I am free from longing and attachment. So not something to be attained, not something to hold on to. I am Lord of the Bharatas, addressing Arjuna's lineage and dynasty. I am the desire in all beings. Desire that is not in opposition to Dharma. I am the desire that is not contrary to Dharma. I am that desire, that life that enjoys. This is why Krishna in depictions is He's seen as one who enjoys. He has wives and kingdoms, palaces, armies. He is the seed. He seeds kings into their places. It is an embodiment of the Supreme. And whatever things there be of the nature of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, know they're all for me alone. I am not, however, in them, they are in me. So whatever there may be, he addresses that nature as Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, which are the energy qualities, the waves of the gunas, which comprise Maya, illusion. Maya, the illusory spell among all beings, is comprised of these three qualities. Sattva is the equilibrium. This is the central position I'm referring to. Rajas is the outward pulsation, the attachment of having to grasp at external phenomena. And tamas is the inward that moves towards rest. And when they come in balance, when the resting and the active are in the balance, you can reside in sattva. And these comprise the energies of Maya, which veil beings in a deep sleep. They're all for me, he says. I am in them. Well, they are all in me, but I am not in them. Referring to as Lord, he witnessed them all as consciousness. Consciousness being neither in, out, below, above. As the Lord, he witnesses it all. All the qualities of nature within himself. He being above it is meant they're not in me. I am above them. And the world does not know this higher being. Very difficult to grasp. And this nature is eternal, pure, and intelligent. Intelligent because it has the faculties of reasoning. It has the faculties of understanding and the faculties of awakening. And it's free. It means liberation itself. That this nature is already liberated. And recognition of it, claiming this liberation as your own, my friend, you have united with the goddess. So many beings are deluded by this threefold guna, the threefold aspect of nature. And the gunas constituting nature, they constitute Maya, the veil that's cast over the eyes. And the whole world fails to recognize the Nameless One, who is above the gunas and is unchanging. While the gunas change, nature changes. But the Nameless One does not change. That is all-pervading, eternal, immutable, which means changeless. And the one who can see this Maya, see the veil of illusion, verily this divine Maya of mine. And he says here, this is mine. Which means that he has ownership of it. He's subjugated it. Maya is not in control of him. He is in self-control over the veil that's been cast. Verily this Maya of mine consisting of the gunas is hard to overcome. But for the man with self-actualization, and those who take refuge in the Nameless alone, they shall cross this bridge. They shall cross the veil that has been cast. And the one who crosses this ocean, says, through the worship, through the recognition of that which is above, that which is nameless, that which is above nature, evildoers and the deluded, and the vilest among men, even the wicked, even those who are confused, even those who are deprived of knowledge itself by the veil that has been cast over the eyes of all beings, of not recognizing this threefold qualities of nature, and they follow the way of the demons. The demons translates as the asuras, and it'll be more discussed in chapter 15 to who the asuras and the demons are. But the demons, they do not honor the higher self. Sorry, they do not worship the Nameless One. This is the demonic quality it's being referred to as the veil that's being cast. They work in illusion. They work with the veil of Maya, casting the veil of darkness over the eyes of others. So, the demons work with control. They work with the negative polarity. They work with tamas, the veil of darkness, and cast the veil of darkness over the eyes, while the Nameless, the Lord, the Purusha, and those who recognize their nature, illuminates the mind, resides within the heart, and illuminates one's understanding. So there are 4 types of beings who worship this higher self, Arjuna. The man in sorrow, he does that. The man who seeks wisdom. The man who seeks true enjoyment of life, to actually enjoy life to its fullest. And the man who has knowledge. And so among the wise, among these people, of those who seek worship among this Nameless One, who take refuge, the man of wisdom is considered the highest. And this is because he is steadfast and he's devoted to this alone. He's devoted to the unchanging. And for the best, he is supremely dear. And I, to the man of wisdom, is dear to him. And he is dear to me. Which means he's loved. Nature loves him. Nature has his back. Shakti's got him. This is Shakti's commitment to you. You're committed to her, she's committed to you. She's got your back. So, are the 3... What about the other 3? Those who is in distress, the one who is trying to attain knowledge, and the one who just wants to enjoy. Are they also dear to the higher self? Noble indeed are they, but the man endowed with wisdom is the man endowed with the highest. To be equal to me, to be my very self. No separation anymore. For steadfast in mind, he remains fixed in me alone, and has attained the ultimate goal. Liberation. For he is united with his nature, and his nature is already free. Wow. Wow. So rare indeed it is for a man who is endowed with this wisdom. At the end of many births, the man with his wisdom, the wisdom that knows the unchanging, he seeks refuge in me. He seeks refuge in the unchanging. And realizing that Vasudeva is all. This means that it says here, Vasudeva is the secret name of Krishna. That's the heart name. For the devotees who know Vasudeva, who know Krishna even by that name, like you call your babe, honey. You know the Supreme, you know him as Vasudeva. Yeah, that name is dear. Vasudeva is dear to all. Rare indeed is such a high-souled person in this world. But why is it that some recognize and some don't? A veil is cast between the eyes. And those whose discriminating wisdom has been led astray by the various desires, the outward pulsations, they resort to other gods, to deities, and they follow diverse rituals and sacrifices, and they're constrained by their own nature, but they don't see these deities, these various gods, are just manifestations of the one ultimate, unchanging, supreme, nameless one. Every deity, every god, all the devas, all the asuras, are just manifestations of the eternal, like waves upon an ocean. And if you worship the devas, you go to the devas. You receive the fruit of that. But what is the true yogi and the devotee? Is one who has renounced the fruit. So Krishna is saying, as the all. Come to me. Come to me. Whatever form a devotee seeks to worship with faith, in that form I make his faith unwavering. So you're not held back. You are free to worship as you please. Any form or manifestation. Guru, teacher, deva, God, asura. And possessed of faith, whatever form you worship, in whatever form, you will attain that desire, and you will be granted that reality. It shall be given unto you, as you wish, granted by the all alone. But you get different results. If you worship the finite, you get finite results. But if you worship the infinite, you get infinite results. But finite is the results by men gained of small minds. It means they haven't actualized that which is unchanging and as the all. For those who worship the deities, they go to the deities. Those who worship me as the all, they come to me. And so, not knowing my supreme nature as unchanging, as transcendent, the foolish men think that I, the unmanifest, am endowed with the manifest form. So they don't recognize the highest. They think they see a being, or they're drawn towards gods that claim, I'm one with the Supreme. But they have not actualized that the all is actually formless. The all is unmanifest, and everything that is manifest has arisen from form. So they get the results of form. They get the results of the various deities and the gods, the devas that are worshipped. But the man of wisdom knows the unchanging. He knows that which is beyond the 6 realms of existence, various kinds of beings. And the cause of ignorance of why this is so is the Maya, the veil that is cast over the eyes of the devotees. Veiled by Maya that is born of the gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. I am not revealed, he says, to all, because of the veil that is cast over the eyes. This deluded world does not know me as the unborn and the eternal. So those who have the veil, they seek those with form, while those who've actualized wisdom, they take refuge in the unborn, in the all, in the nameless. I, O Arjuna, know the beings that are the past, for they are within me. I know the beings of the present, for they are within me. I know the beings that are to come, for they are within me. But no one knows me. He's as the all, as beyond all form, that is, beyond thought. The obstacle to this knowledge, in which beings are deluded, or they don't recognize this twofold division of nature, Prakriti and Purusha, matter and spirit. Spirit being formless. Formless. All beings from their very birth, O Bharata, they're deluded by the spell of the pairs of opposites, good, evil, light and dark, attachment and aversion, from desire and aversion, and that very spell is the veil of Maya that's being cast. Attachment is the quality of Rajas, aversion being the quality of Tamas, but the wisdom to see is the pure mind that has come to the central position and resides in sattva, pure mind. The men who have virtuous deeds, who have purified their heart with this understanding, whose sins and obscurations have come to an end through faith in this yoga that is taught, they're free from the delusion of the pairs of opposites, and they worship the all with the firm resolve, with the unwavering of mind. They are committed. That's a devotee. That's a bhakti. And through that worship, they acquire the highest goal of life, the purpose of life. Those who take refuge in me, says Vasudeva, to gain release from old age and death, from the sorrows of the world, from the wheel of birth and rebirth, they will come to know Brahman, existence, consciousness, and bliss. They will know their nature, and they will come to know all about the individual soul and its inseparability from the all-pervading soul, the Purusha, the higher nature, the nameless, and all about action as well, that all action derives from one's nature. Those who know me as the One that underlies all the elements, that underlies all the gods, that underlines all the sacrifices, that underlines even the will, that underlines with the steadfast mind the time of death and birth, know that to be me, nameless, formless, changeless, eternal, all-pervading. Know me even in the hour of death. Thus ends realization. Realization being realizing through direct experience one's own higher nature as the eternal witness, beyond form, spontaneously present. This ends chapter 7, The Way of Realization. I'll see you in chapter 8, The Way to the Imperishable Brahman.